Hey Leo, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your weekly forecast for the week of Monday, May 21st to Sunday, May 27th, 2018. Now before I get started, I just have one announcement, and that's that I will be doing my June 2018 webinar on Monday, May 28th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, where I will be speaking about why this month, June, is one of the most fated and karmic months of the year, right? One of the reasons why I think that is because we will have Mars in a conjunction with the South Node for most of this month, which will bring in or bring up things from the past that we may need to deal with before we can move forward. All right, while that's happening, Venus as well is going to be conjunct the North Node, so opposite Mars, opposite the South Node, which doesn't happen that often at the same time, bringing love, money, and all of the things that you value to the forefront that may meet a very destined change being on the North Node. Okay, we also do have 5 planets retrograde this month, including 2, Neptune and Mars, which will go retrograde during this month. Okay, so what we're going to do during my webinar is talk about what to do with this energy, how to handle it, as well as the most important days of the month so that you can be prepared. Okay, I want you to know you may have to hold on to your hats because this month will bring unexpected changes in love and money, along with our perception, how we perceive of our life and of the things in it. Okay, we may have to readjust our thinking this month as fate and destiny step in and realign us, I like to think, on our proper course. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about this month. If you're interested, please check out the link down below in my description box for more information. Now, Leo, your horoscope. What I'm going to start this week with is Jupiter right here in a trine with Neptune. These planets have been kind of close for quite some time in the background. They're slower moving planets, but they're coming exact this week, which I'm going to talk about, especially because Jupiter is going retrograde, really bringing some things from the past back into focus. And that for you, Leo, is going to have to do right here where Jupiter is in your 4th house of home and of family, and Neptune in your 8th house of changes, of endings and beginnings. All right. So what could be going on is perhaps, maybe since the beginning of the year, maybe even before that, there were some changes perhaps that you were planning on making. Maybe changes at home, changes with your family, changes to your emotional states that have been going on, or changes to the foundation that your life is built on. Maybe it's been hard for you to get comfortable with some of those changes that you've been trying to make, or to understand these changes, or to get other people to understand what's been going on. And I think this alignment here happening this week is helping you to make sense of all of these changes in your home life, in your family, and your emotions that have been going on lately, and to feel more at peace and more comfortable with some of the things that have been occurring. Okay, so I think that's what's been going on there, which is going to happen all week. All right, while that's going on Monday, we also do have Venus, which just moved into Cancer, which for you, Leo, is in your 12th house of your insides and of your spirituality. Okay, so as you're trying to get more comfortable with some big changes you've been making in your home lately, I think Venus in Cancer here is asking you to get more internal, more spiritual, to overcome the past, to let the past go, so that you really can step into these changes that you have been trying to push for. Okay, Venus in Cancer, again, is also helping you here to work out some stuff on the inside so that you can feel better. All right, Venus in Cancer, however, at the beginning of the week is making a square over to Chiron around Monday. So there could be some uncomfortable feelings where Chiron is in your 9th house of something new and different that you have not done before. Perhaps you've been trying to change your home life, change the foundation your life was built on, to do something new that you have not done before. And I think this square to Chiron is saying time to push the brakes here on doing something new, having a new home, changing your life to do something new, and time to just settle into it. Okay, time to get right with it internally, time to get right with it on the inside. If you're feeling any resistance as you push forward to do something you haven't done before, to travel, even with the 9th house, to study, I think it's because this week is not the week for you to push forward, and this month really is not the month for you to push forward and do that, but a time for you to integrate what has happened, to get comfortable with it, and to overcome old chapters so that you can step into new ones. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. While that's happening, we also do have the Sun, which just moved into Gemini, which for you is in your 11th house of your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for the future, as well as the groups of people that you associate with. So as you're trying to get comfortable with some changes going on here in your home life and to stop doing so many new things, I think now you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I see my life going? Now what kind of goals or dreams do I have for the future? Now what kind of people am I going to associate with that I've made this change? And I'm starting to settle into it. That you're going to have to work out, okay? The sun as well, towards the middle of the week, Wednesday, is also going to make a trine here with Mars. And Mars is going to be in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships of the one-on-one variety, okay? So what's going on here? I think you're trying to figure out where your life is going, how you want to envision your life, what your future looks like, what kind of groups of people you're going to associate with, and that may also require you to rethink some of your relationships, your one-on-one relationships, some of your partnerships with people, or even some contracts perhaps come into the 7th house that you've signed, or maybe that people have signed with you that could come in here with the 7th house, especially with Mars and its shadow period on the South Node about to go retrograde. I think you're trying to figure out now where your life is going now that you're settling into some big changes at home, perhaps, and maybe having to do things differently with your relationships because so much has changed, or to think of your relationships and where it is you see your future with the people in your life differently because of everything that has occurred, okay? I think if you can think of your relationships differently, okay, and envision a different future for yourself with the people in your life, it will help you here to start to feel better about some new thing that it is that you are doing with both Mars and the Sun this week, making a sextile over to Chiron, especially at the beginning of this week. All right, so that's what I see going on there. Now, as we move towards the end of the week, we get Mercury making a lot of moves. All right, because on Wednesday, we've got Mercury here in Taurus, which for you is your 10th house of your career, your reputation, your social standing, and your life direction. And Mercury is going to oppose Jupiter in your 4th house of home and family. So I think what starts to come in on Wednesday, perhaps after you've done a lot of processing, perhaps on the inside, there comes a lot of conversations about your career, about where your life is going, about your reputation that could come in, okay? And I think you're trying to figure out how to work with your home or use your home life to your advantage to give yourself the reputation that you want and to feel more comfortable reaching perhaps some big life direction that it is that you want, okay? And I think you're just trying to figure out here what reputation you want and how you can move forward on that reputation, feeling more comfortable about it and feeling like your home life and your family life is in order so that you have that foundation from which you can move forward on, all right? So that comes in on Wednesday. Around the same time that that happens, we also do have Mercury here in your 10th and a sextile with Neptune in your 8th. So perhaps in order for you to find that comfort in your life that you need to put your life in the right direction, you may have to, again, make some more changes to where it is you see your life going, or maybe even have to make some more changes to your career and your life direction now that your home has changed. Now that the foundation your life is built on has changed, okay, maybe your relationships need to adjust. You need to think of your relationships and how you work with people differently. And maybe you also need to readjust your career, your reputation to support all of this stuff that's been going on in your life in a very big way, with a lot of stuff happening on some of your major angles. All right. So that's what I see there. After that happens, now on Friday, so the very end of the week, we do have Mercury, as it comes off of this, starts to make a trine to Pluto. And Pluto for you is in your 6th house of your job, of your daily routines, also your health. And I think the 6th house too rules like your physical reality, like kind of what your life looks like from a physical sense. And I think what starts to come up towards Friday is now that you're trying to settle in with these big changes that you've been making lately in your home, and to readjust your relationships and readjust perhaps your career and your reputation to suit some of these changes, I think you start to focus more on the weekend about your job and your daily routines. Okay, now that some of this other stuff is in order, more or less, I think on Friday you start to figure out, now what about my job? How do I do my job differently now that the rest of my life is different? How do I change my life in more of a physical way, my routines, what I do on the day-to-day? all right? So that I can start to put my life in a better place based on some more of this information that I now have that maybe you didn't have months ago, or now that some more things have happened that didn't happen before, all right? And I think your job and your daily routines come into focus, okay? So that's what is happening there. While that's going on Saturday, so a day later, we also do have Venus here in your 12th house of your insides and in opposition with Saturn also in your 6th house of your job and your daily routines. So as you're trying to think about perhaps what changes you need to make now to your job or to your daily routines to support this other big change that's been going on in your life with your home, maybe with your career as well and your reputation, I think you start to figure out, right, you're starting to figure out what needs to be done on the day-to-day, all right? With the opposition from Venus to Saturn, there could be some restriction here. You know you need to change your job to do something that resonates with you more now that so much has gone on, but maybe not sure what resonates with you on the inside. That could come in. Maybe feeling like what you're doing on the day-to-day doesn't make you the most comfortable, doesn't really allow you to do some of the things that you want, and I think that's kind of where we end the week, Leo, is you trying to figure out what kind of daily routines do I want and need, what will make me feel the most comfortable on the inside, and how can I create a life externally that matches what I feel internally now that so many things in my life are different than they were before, and now that I'm starting to see and consider new possibilities and new relationships and working with people in new and different ways that didn't exist a few months ago, okay, and trying to work all that out, all right? So that's what I see for you this week. Another thing, whenever I say job, your daily routines, no, health can also come in. So focus as well could also start to be health towards the end of the week, trying to improve your health, change your health for the better, and get more comfortable with that internally, okay? So that's what we've got for you, Leo. Your card is the 9. It's the 9 of Cups reversed. So this card to me, whenever it's reversed, is like a card of discontent. There's something in your life that you're not content with, that isn't quite right. And I think what this card is saying is, why not? Why aren't you content? Maybe this week is a week for you to figure out what makes you happy. And maybe once you figure out what makes you happy, then it'll be easier for you to start to get it. Okay, so maybe that's what's coming in this week. Maybe this card sometimes too, sometimes when I think of this card upright, I think of a man who's a little bit overindulgent for some reason. So maybe as well, this card is a message to be happy with what you have, to appreciate this moment that you found yourself in. It's not that you can't create better things, but sometimes there's something to be said for sitting in the present moment and letting what needs to come or what will come bubble up inside you, okay? And I think this card is a message to be patient, perhaps as things come together, to do some soul searching, perhaps if you need to figure out what makes you happy and to enjoy what it is that you have around you at this moment for some more of the answers to come, okay? So that's what I've got for you this week, Leo. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.